Paddy Conklin was born in 1893 in the slums of Brooklyn. Little is known of Paddy's early life, except that his given name was Joe Renker, and he came from a poor family. In 1907, at the age of 12, Paddy ran away from home, determined never to be poor again. He ended up on the streets of New York City, struggling to fend for himself.
Where did all this start, your career, I mean?
Well, this career started 52 years ago around Old Madison Square Garden, New York City, selling peanuts.
And eventually his natural ability for hustling took him to Coney Island. It was at Coney Island, near New York City, that Paddy fell in love with the carnival. Paddy was lured by the crowds, the opportunity, and most of all, the money. It was here that he was first introduced to carnies, the workers of the carnival, who were outcasts and runaways like himself, valued for their talents and desire to work hard. Paddy fit into the carnival perfectly. Until the end of his teens, he thrived in this environment, working at 5 or 6 different jobs at once, eager to make money and educate himself about show business. He worked on rides, particularly on the roller coaster. He worked at concession stands, selling everything from ice cream to balloons, and he even acted in amateur theater. Coney Island encouraged Paddy to develop his hustling talent and make money. In 1924, Paddy met Speed Garrett, owner of Garrett Shows, and saw an opportunity to finally become a show owner. Paddy's unique talent for both shows and games made the carnival a success. Paddy had overcome the challenges of the western terrain, the vast distances from one town to the next. As the Depression began to ease, Paddy's carnival grew again until it became one of the largest shows in the West, but still, it wasn't enough. So, in the mid-30s, Paddy decided to move the show east with dreams of running the world's largest fair. In 1936, Paddy made a bid for the contract to run the Canadian National Exhibition. Elwood Hughes made Paddy an offer he couldn't refuse. He gave him an unprecedented 10-year contract to be the sole operator of the Midway at the CNE. So in 1937, Paddy laid it all on the line. He traveled the world in search of the best shows and rides to give the CNE goers a Midway they'd never forget.
We have one of the most wonderful shows here at the CNE in the world. We're catering to the masses. They can come down here on the Midway at the CNE and see everything if they stay here long enough without spending any money.
With the war over and the baby boom in full swing, Paddy recognized the money to be made in producing family entertainment, so his first step was to clean up the carnival's illegitimate games. In the 1940s, he introduced Kiddyland to the world. Paddy's innovations were leading the industry. He was beginning to leave an indelible mark on the carnival world. The peanut salesman had become a multi-millionaire.
I think in Paddy's era, you know, that he was more of a producer, kind of like you'd produce a rock show now. You didn't have a lot of equipment in those days. You didn't have all the rides, and it was mostly back-end pieces and sideshows.
Paddy's influence on the carnival business is still felt throughout Canada, even today, a quarter of a century after his death.